Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing? It's been a little while since I've been on here. I've been MIA again. Sorry guys, life distracts me so easily and a lot has been going on. As I'm sure you'll probably know from my other videos, I was pregnant and now I'm not pregnant anymore. So happy to not be pregnant. Yeah, I had my baby a couple of weeks ago. Well, actually, it's about a month ago now. I had my baby girl, my little baby daughter. Her name is Sierra. And yeah, we're so excited to have her as part of the family. And I just wanted to come on and tell you guys my positive birth story. So, for those of you who watched my previous video, you would have seen that I was having some thoughts and trying to decide between having a vaginal birth, so a VBAC, or having a planned cesarean section. As I said in my previous video, I wanted to have a VBAC, but unfortunately for me, things didn't quite go to plan. Long story short, the plan with the consultant and the medical team was that if baby didn't come 8 days after her due date, then I would have a planned C-section. And I waited and waited and waited, and this girl was so chilled. She did not come. I tried to have a couple of sweeps to move things along. I think I tried to have like 4, and she just was never in the right position for them to be able to do it. She was very high up. I think at about 38 weeks or so, sorry, it's so hot today, so I might fan myself. At about 38 weeks or so, she was, I was about 1 centimetre dilated. And I stayed there for like a week and there was no progress. I did have a couple of false alarms at one point at around just before 38 weeks. I thought my waters had broken and it hadn't. So that was quite frustrating. Went to the hospital, was there the whole day. And this was before I had started dilating and they were like, yep, your cervix is closed shut. Your waters didn't break. You're just there, darling. So I was so frustrated and I was so demotivated. I'd actually tried to vlog my last couple of weeks of pregnancy up until that point to show you guys, and I did capture some great footage, but then like week 37 of my pregnancy I was doing a lot of things. I went for a spa treatment, I was taking my daughter out. I was in pain from my pelvic pain, but I was still trying to stay active. But after I had that first false alarm at around just before 38 weeks, to be honest, I was so demoralized, so demotivated. I kept getting the Braxton Hicks, like really strong ones. So I started getting too scared to like drive anywhere. And where I live, it's not that easy to get around public transport, especially with a young child. So I felt very housebound. I only went out for like urgent appointments, and that was like I would like take a taxi, had like a medical appointment or something like that. And yeah, I just felt so down and so miserable and uncomfortable. And so yeah, in the end, yeah, I just kind of didn't do much. I think I went and got my nails done one time, so there was nothing to vlog basically, except misery, and I didn't want to share my misery with you all. But yeah, so yeah, I'm going to go right in and tell you all about my actual birth experience, just to kind of share with everyone and let you know how it went. And yeah, I hope you can get something out of this, especially if you're due to give birth soon, or maybe your wife or your partner's due to give birth soon. This might be of you. Right, so 2 days before my C-section, I went in for like a pre-operation meeting, and it was really, really good because up until that point, I'm not going to lie to you, I was petrified. I was petrified, even though I've been through it before, but the last time it was an emergency, it all happened so quickly, and I didn't have that time to be scared and to think about it. It was literally like, we think you should have a C-section, let's go. Within like an hour or two, I'd given birth. So it was all so quick that I feel like it was kind of easier for me because I didn't really think about it till after the C-section had been done. Whereas this time around, I had plenty of time to think about before. And to be honest, I did not want a C-section. I really, really wanted a vaginal birth, and I wanted it to go smoothly. I wanted to be one of those fortunate sods who literally like turn up, have contractions that just come on, and then they get to the hospital and they tell them they're 8 centimeters dilated, and then 2 hours later out comes the baby. That's what I was really hoping for, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. So I had to come to terms with that firstly, which was really disappointing, especially not even having the chance to try really. But at the same time, I feel like it is what it is, and I've come to terms with it. And to be honest, I feel far more at peace with this birth than I felt with the first one, because I felt very in control. I felt like I made my own decisions the whole time, and you know, nature had to run its course, and I can respect nature because that's something that I know I can't control. Compared to like other things in my first birth that I felt like I could have had more control over, but I didn't. So yeah, I don't feel bad about my birth. I don't feel negative about it in any way. I just feel like it is what it is. And as far as C-sections go, mine went really, really well. So I had my pre-op meeting. Didn't get a chance to do that last time. So got to ask questions, asked loads of questions, got to meet with the actual consultant, not the one that did the actual surgery, but a consultant on duty that day. And I also got to speak with a anesthetist. I can't say that word. I'm sorry, guys. I can't say. I've tried so many times. I can't say it. They're the people that do the spinals and do the epidurals, basically. So I had a chance to speak to them, ask all my questions. They gave me medication. So they gave me 2 sets of medication. I think I had to take 1 the night before and 2 in the following morning. And they were like anti-sickness medications. And so that was fine. Didn't get any side effects or anything like that. And then the day of the operation, so I went for my pre-op 2 days before the operation. So the day of the operation, we went in at 7 a.m. They put us in our bay on the like ward, and I was first up, so I was pretty fortunate. I was first up, so you know, they kind of like were prepping, we were kind of waiting around. I was pretty relaxed. I've got some pictures that I'll try and insert. So I was pretty relaxed, I was pretty chilled, and you know, came with my husband. All my bag was packed. I had plenty of time to make sure I had everything I needed. In the end, I actually only probably used about 30% of the things that I brought with me, because I wasn't in hospital for very long at all, but I'll come back to that. So yeah, so basically, yeah, I couldn't eat as well, so I had to stop eating from the night before, from midnight. So I hadn't eaten that morning, but I wasn't hungry or anything like that. I was fine. So I went into surgery probably about 9:30, I would say, about 9:30. So it was a bit of a wait. But I met the consultant beforehand. I met the anaesthetist. You know what I'm trying to say, guys. I can't say that word. I met him. He was amazing. He was amazing. Like, he went above and beyond in terms of making me feel comfortable. Like, he just explained everything to me. I had certain preferences for that surgery. He explained the whole procedure, because it was a bit different to how a typical C-section would run. He explained everything. He just kind of reassured me massively, and I just felt like he was just there by my side. Like, I know it sounds weird, he was literally there by my side, because once they put like the curtain thing down, he was literally standing right behind me and kind of explaining everything and making sure I was comfortable. I just felt like it was amazing, because to be fair, in my first C-section the same thing happened, but I was so out of it, I couldn't really appreciate what the woman was doing. And to be honest, I kept telling the woman in my first surgery with my first daughter that I was feeling pain, but nothing really changed. And looking back now, I realised that I wasn't given enough. I think like my epidural in my first surgery was probably wearing off, and I wasn't given enough of a top up, because I felt so much during that surgery. Was this time around, honestly, once they put in the cannula, I'll talk through the steps before I actually started the surgery, but once they put everything in, I was numbed. I felt nothing. I felt a bit of tugging, but it was very light. The main tugging I felt was when they brought baby out, and also like the last bit when they were finishing off everything. But overall, I didn't feel that much. It didn't feel painful at all. There was no pain, and it was just a bit of tugging, and the tugging wasn't uncomfortable, if that makes sense. Whereas the first time, the tugging was so uncomfortable, and that's one of the things that I was dreading. I was really dreading the tugging, and I was thinking, oh, am I going to feel pain again? Because that pain was not nice, especially like when you're lying there powerless, you know? But thankfully that wasn't the case. So in terms of the procedure, I went into the operating room. I'm not going to lie, I didn't know every single person that was there, but most of the people were introduced to me, and I kind of know, they said who they were and what their role was. But it was weird going to give birth in an operating room, I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't know, if you've never had an operation before, I can explain it. It just feels so like you're watching a movie almost, like surreal. It's just so, it just doesn't feel like you're going to give birth. Does that make sense? It just looks like it's weird. I don't know how else to explain it. So went in, and like I said, the first time I didn't get a chance to pay attention to all this because I was just so out of it. So went in completely, you know, within my full clear head. My husband had been like taken to go and get his like gown on and get everything ready. So we came in, they gowned me up. Well, I think I'd already had my gown and everything. So they put in the cannula. That was really painful, but it got done. Then they put in um, the numbing stuff on my spine. Now that was painful. That was really painful. And I think that and the cannula were the most painful parts of the process, if I'm being honest with you. But it was pretty painful. Once they put the spinal injection in, that wasn't actually painful because they'd already put in the numbing stuff. So I didn't feel pain, but it did feel horrible. Like that whole bit was horrible, I'm not gonna lie. And straight away I went from feeling very like well, very good within myself to just feeling woozy and out of it and just a bit lightheaded. Obviously they put that antibiotics as well. They put so many things in your system in such a short space of time that in the time it took them to do all of this, which it sounds quick, but it probably took 45 minutes to an hour for them to do all of this. By the time they did everything and I was actually ready to start the operation, I felt so out of it again. But nothing compared to the first time. Like I wasn't tired. I was just like, whoa, you know, lightheaded is the best way I could describe it.